Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, we have a very special guest today. We have the man who is the Julian Bass on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. He also has a YouTube channel, Macro Bass J, and then you can also find him at his website, Macro Bass Productions. This is the Julian Bass. Welcome, Julian.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Yeah.
Applause. Juan, you'll insert that.
I'm the audio effects guy, so I like add applause. You know.
Perfect.
He's got the poet applause. I like that.
Do you have any sound effects you want to like just add in right now?
Oh, I'll just give it a. We love you, Julian.
Because I could do like trap air horns. I could do like what is that?
Oh, air horn.
Yeah, I could do.
Damn, son.
I could do the damn,
son.
Where'd you
find this?
I could do all that. I could do. Yeah, man. I mean, anything. A G6. Yeah. What do you want?
I'm gonna. I feel like I have to leave it up to you. You know your board more than I do.
All right. Cool.
Play it by ear.
Throw some fun stuff in there.
Juan's just gonna go down the list and just start throwing all kinds of sound effects in there. But Julian, thanks for coming out here, man.
Yeah, it's amazing to be here. It's crazy to be here right now, right? Like, are we the first? Of all the things,
are we the first to interview you?
Yeah, this is like the first interview I've done, or like a podcast or anything. Like
This is all right. So when you make it big, bro, we have eye for talent, bro. Like, when you make it big,
remember us little guys.
Yeah.
I remember this. This is like going down in the history books. I'll be like, the first time I've ever done an interview was here. What's the date? Remember it. It's the 5th.
What is the date?
The 6th.
The 6th. The podcast will be out on Friday of next week, though. So
okay, Friday of next week is my birthday.
Right now.
Ooh.
It's May 15th.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Happy birthday in the future.
Or today,
Yeah. Excellent. Nice, so Julian, I noticed you also have the quintessential shirt that you wear in all your TikTok videos.
Yes, I made sure to bring this one out today. The Ben 10, the custom hoodie that I had gotten.
Yeah,
weird story behind this hoodie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Care to tell?
I got this hoodie at the Mall of Georgia, and I was there. I had gone there to get like some jeans or something from like Old Navy. I was like, all right, I got like $60, and I'm gonna get like 2 pairs of jeans because like jeans were just expensive.
That's pretty good,
I guess
for 2.
It was I like had no money left, and I had like bought shoes I think that I didn't need, and I was walking by and there's this guy, and they have these like booths where they like do like custom print anything onto any like shirt, hoodie, and this guy's like, hey, you want a hoodie? I'm like, I'm good, and he's like, no, any price. I'm like, any price? I was like, man, you got me. He like grabbed my arm, like reeled me in. I was like, okay, and then he goes, he's like, any design, and I'm like, I want the Omnitrix on a white hoodie, and I had like $5 probably, right? And he makes the hoodie like right there, like presses it, the design, and he rings me up for like $30. I was like, I don't have $30, dude.
Yeah.
He was like, it'll be $30. This is the discount. I was like, you said any price, and I like pulled out my wallet. I was like, I got $5 in here right now, and he was like, you know what? It's on me. It's all right. And I was like, thanks, bro. Now it's like,
wow.
I've had this for like maybe 2 years, and like.
That's a good score, man.
I've never gotten anything like that big free. Like the biggest thing I got for free at a mall was a cookie.
That's pretty damn good though.
And that's not even it wasn't like I'm not talking about those sample things they give out. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like it was closing time at the mall, and I was like, hey, I know y'all are gonna throw away the cookies. Just can I have some?
What was it like? Great
That's
American.
What you always ask, right?
Yeah, but that's amazing.
Yeah,
shout out to the dude or the lady who like hooked it up.
Yeah.
Since Julian, you just already kind of opened up the floor there. I guess I found Julian because we both are from Georgia, so he mentioned Mall of Georgia, and that's I'm very familiar. I guess it must have been one of the guys in the kiosks, huh?
Yeah, it was. Yep, they had their little thing. They were all set. and he just couldn't resist me. He saw the look in my eyes. He was like, I know I could get this guy, but he didn't know this guy could get me. You know. So I was ready.
Beautiful. Turn the tables on him.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't really even do a good job at introducing the audience who may not be familiar with Julian. So Julian, he's basically, I would call him one of the content kings of TikTok. So he does VFX, visual effects, art, you know, all this kind of stuff. Cool, really cool videos on TikTok.
It's hero time.
You know, 15 to a minute. I don't even know if you do minute-long videos.
On YouTube, yeah, but
Yeah, YouTube,
YouTube,
definitely.
but not on
But
TikTok.
I keep everything short on TikTok. That's a part of the. I don't think I'll ever do a minute-long video unless it's like something I'm talking about, like important.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the best thing for me is to do something that's short that people can, you know, watch over and over again. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
don't know. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah,
that-
I think it's definitely a philosophy that seems to be working for you well. So
yeah.
Yes. So did you? Speaking of TikTok and stuff, did you ever jump on the Vine bandwagon?
So that's a great question. No, I didn't. But I had Vine when it was out. I loved Vine. I was just like I remember when I first was like on it was when I had to be in like middle school, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my friend first introduced it to me during a summer camp at a church that I used to go to. And I was like, oh, this is hilarious, you know? And then I was like in one Vine with her. And she was like, oh, you're so funny. And I was like, oh, thanks. Now, like looking back, and like, you know, Vine died. And then I was like, man, I really missed out on a great opportunity. Because like now at that point I was making videos and I was like, Vine was like this just like trend factory. And I was like, man, if I had Vine. And so I, of course, looked into, I was like, you know, what's the next big thing? And apparently the creator of Vine was going to do Byte, right? Vine 2.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was like, oh, I'm so hyped for Vine 2. Can't wait for that to come out. And then I like didn't until like maybe like a month ago. And it was supposed to come out like a year ago. And so then TikTok came along, and I came into that pretty late. But I was convinced by my now ex-girlfriend, who was like, I want to send you TikToks. And I was like, TikTok? I was like, isn't that for kids? Like everybody thinks that, right? You know, like everybody's like, isn't that for the kids? That's, you know, quit wasting your time, Julian. Well, look how it turned out, you know?
So true, man. People need to stop sleeping on TikTok and acting like they're too cool to be on there.
Big time. Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's kind of Vine 2.0. Like if Vine tried to come back, like it would not be, because like you can make 6-second videos too. Like it's not,
right.
You know, nothing stopping you from that. But yeah, no, it was just interesting because I was looking back at like your YouTube catalog, and I saw that you were making YouTube videos, but I was like, man, I wonder if he had a Vine. Like it was just
right.
You know, it just because the timeline of it all. But you seem to be more focused on, at least at the time, developing your skills in terms of like VFX and just how to like do
big time
film, like set up shots and stuff. So like tell us a little bit about that. Did you have any kind of training, any formal training in any of the film kind of arts kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, I the weirdest way I got started, I started when my dad actually would take a lot of pictures at like our family reunions and everything. And so my mom got him this editing software, which was supposed to basically just like put these pictures into like a little slideshow thing. But it had like video capabilities too, which my dad was like, yo, this has like you could do green screen stuff. This is like Hollywood, you know? And we were like, whoa. And I'm like, of course, I'm like maybe 10 or 11 at this time. And around that time, I was starting to get into Lego stop motion videos, which were like I was huge into Legos, and you know, I was like, oh, I want to do like a Star Wars, you know. But then my dad, the combination of my dad doing that green screen stuff, he started making like business plan things and instructional videos, and then brought me in. I don't know if this is on my YouTube channel. It might not be. But we did our first video called Donuts for Life. And it was just me and my brother. We were like, oh, if we like, steal this medallion, we can get donuts for life. We had like Nerf guns or whatever. And it was like there was like no effects and anything. And I didn't really get hard into the effects until a friend of my uncle's, he was like, hey, I have After Effects. Like, do you want it? And I was like, After Effects? Of course I want After Effects. That was like the one thing I was like, oh, if I could have After Effects, I'd be so good at everything. And then, the learning started to begin from like maybe 12 and on. And I was just like, the best way to learn was to be like, I wanted to be a superhero. I was like, give me a superpower. And I was like, I'm going to do it. School projects, whether it's like, if it was anything that I had to do that involved a video, I was like, I'm going to have superpowers in it. I'm going to get the job done and get the A. And then I'm going to also learn like techniques along the way. So, the first video I did with After Effects was probably, there was this lightning one that if you go like into the deep back in like macro base, like first video ever, like lightning. And I'm sitting in front of my computer screen like this, and I'm just like, moving around my fingers, messing with tracking. Then I did this one where I was playing football with my friend. It was a language arts video. And for some reason, I like ended up punching him into like the sky, which is a recent thing that I just did with my brother. And it's crazy to see like this is the first time I did it, and this is like the newest version of it.
Yeah,
there's so many of that. Like the journey from going from just like opening After Effects for the first time to where I am now is like, it's such a leap. And it's hard to like kind of go through almost every little thing that I did. But yeah, it's really like I wanted to have a certain power and I wanted to do it. So I found a way. And now I'm at this point where like I can use the techniques from prior videos to create my own effects now. Like I don't even have to watch a tutorial anymore. Or I'll watch a different tutorial for something that's a piece to what I'm trying to build. Because I'm in the business now of doing things that never been done before. So yeah.
Very cool, man. So you have reached the threshold of what can be learned on YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool. So, so Julian, I did notice though, speaking of YouTube, you have 2 channels. So you have Julian Bass, but it has the updated avatar and everything from your Instagram and Twitter. But I was confused because it looked like that one actually had older videos on there. And it looked more like a vlog of some type.
Yeah,
Can you tell us the difference between Macro Bass? Yeah.
That's that was an interesting time. I haven't posted a video to that channel in maybe a year, and I really want to. That was around when I was like, and this was before I was on TikTok too. So the Macro Base channel has stuff from, when I was like maybe 13, 14, 12, whatever. And I have that one as like a business channel. That's where if you go to my website and things, you'll find that like all the embedded videos are coming from Macrobase. And then the Julian Bass channel was something I was like, I just want to have one that I could just post whatever video I want and like not have to worry about it. Things that like aren't going to go into my reel or anything, things that like no effects. I just want to do a fun video. And so that's where that came from. I was just like, I'm going to do like this vlog type thing. And it was super easy because I was like, I don't have to do effects. I don't have to make anything blow up. I could just, shoot a vlog and like just cut it down and, do sound effects and make it funny. But I had, there's a video on that Julian Bass channel where I'm like doing a singing audition that I had cut together. It was for, I think it was for Hamilton maybe. But I had done this thing and I was like, this was like so bad. I cut it into a video, but just didn't have anywhere to put it. So, I made that channel for that. I just haven't gotten back to it since TikTok really. And I noticed that people were subscribing to it because it just had my name on it. And I hadn't like opened, I hadn't been getting notifications because Macrobase is the main thing. And I was like, holy crap, like 500 people are subscribed to me and I haven't posted in a year? Jeez. It was like 50 yesterday. So. Yeah, it goes to
I
show.
see. So yeah, Julian, I noticed you just said Hamilton. So I don't know how well your audience knows about this, but I learned about this from your live stream from I think last week. You're actually a theater major.
Yeah,
Can you
so
tell us about that a little?
yeah, so I started out in college as a film major, like which is everybody's like, "Oh, obviously," you know. But I had actually done theater in high school for 2 years. I was starting to play football and then I like quit because I saw freaking Aladdin in on Broadway. My mom took me to see Aladdin on Broadway. It was the first Broadway show. That was the only Broadway show I've seen. And I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, and I sang a bit like here and there and I performed sometimes, but I was never like doing on stage stuff. And so I did that in high school. And that was like the biggest thing. Like if you ask anybody at high school, they were like, "Oh, Julian's the kid who, was singing and great at that." But most people didn't know I made the trailers for the school shows and I did like the shirt designs and stuff. I was basically I was running that, I was like doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we I kind of, I was like, film is my thing. I'm going to be a film major. I just was going in with so much experience as a freshman, I didn't want to have to do like film history and, like the film studies and all this stuff. I was like, oh, this is going to be so boring.
Yeah.
I was like, all I want to do is take screenwriting. And it turns out as a theater major, I can just kind of bypass all the film history and like the boring stuff and do a screenwriting course as a part of the theater major course. So
gotcha.
It's just it's all around just a better way for me to kind of go through college in a more interesting way for me, because the one thing I would say like a weakness of mine is like I could get bored easily if I have something that I would much rather like to do. So like, like if I'm stuck in film history and I'm like, God, I just want to make something, like, then I would probably spend my time making something, even if it might be insignificant. It just, it's my interests are kind of like split. And I feel like time is my enemy sometimes, and that's, it's a weird like balancing act that I found a loophole thanks to my advisor to get to where I want to be. So
that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good because some people figure it out way later, man. Some people they take multiple years to like really find that one thing. But I can tell, like, I would have just thought immediately film major. I was like, because like, the amount of VFX you do and the amount of like just the way you're already comfortable with it. But yeah, theater. I used to be a theater kid too, but I decided not to do theater in high school. I was like, I don't want to. I was like,
I didn't even know that.
It was a weird time. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was, like I said, I was coming from playing football, which is like, the polarized. Like these are the theater kids, and these is like the the football players. I was like I was an outsider to the outsiders. If you will.
Yeah.
It was weird. And like the theater kids who had like been in intro to theater, doing theater since they were like, 12. Yeah. I had a weird time the first year because I wasn't sure if they really liked me. I was like, are they cool with me here? But I learned to grow with them. They were still extremely weird to me. But it was a fun batch of people. Oh yeah, like they were like breaking out into song, and I was like, I don't understand what that song is. But I was good.
That's funny.
So that was another thing. Like I was really. I'm gonna toot my own horn here. I have to. I have to. But I was good, and I was the lead in like 3 out of the 4 shows that I did.
Nice.
I played Donkey in Shrek the Musical, obviously. I played.
Give us a little bit. Give us a little bit.
You want to? You.
Nah, like, come on. What is it? I mean, did you try to emulate?
I'm making waffles.
Yeah. Well, they had me. So the funniest thing, like, I was of the black students in the class. I was like the most standard one who could like be malleable. Like I could my friend Sorian used to say, he was like, you could be any black person you want to be. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, you could be the white black guy who's like said, hello friends, how are you doing? But you could also be like, you could also be like the hood black guy, like you could like turn it on, switch it off,
little thug,
like here and there.
Go the range.
And then, of course I had the range and I could like be like, here's the Eddie Murphy. And I'll go, Shrek, what you talking about? Look, I don't know what you got me into, but I'm not going to fight that dragon. I'm going to go this way, and we'll all figure this out later.
That's pretty damn good, dude. See, that's how I know you're a performer at heart. You like got the range, like you could do all these characters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's good.
Everything.
That's good. Yeah,
he's a man of many talents.
Yeah, that's good.
So many.
I can. Yeah, because I have that performer like gene in me or something. Because it's got a like I do voices. I do voices, impressions and stuff. He knows because he's my roommate. So like
like you do a little bit of Obama.
I do a little bit of Obama.
Hit us with a little Obama one.
Wait, hold on. Dude. The corporation. See, it's more in the intonation. The way you say things, you know what I mean? Like,
oh my gosh!
The other time we were doing the other time I kind of did The Rock, but The Rock's kind of hard to do.
That's a tough one.
You
got to work on that one a little bit.
Yeah. But I love throwing those out there. Like, is there anything that I guess this is more now that I know you're a theater kid.
Yeah.
Is there anything like whenever you lock into like a performing kind of side of your characters, I guess, what do you do? Do you use like an anchor? Do you like watch a certain like for Shrek, right? Did you watch a certain part of the movie and just like you're like, I'm gonna get this down so I can capture the essence of Eddie Murphy, or what?
For certain, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I for certain, there's certain things where like, if there's a piece, like if you get it right, you can just go into like the character. I don't think I necessarily had that for Donkey. They kind of let me be me. So most of the time, by the time we were like performing our shows, I had kind of slipped out of the Eddie Murphy and just was like, hey, this is me. I'm Julian Bass, but I'm also Donkey. And, like that worked, But I think for some of the voices, like, and you would know this, like some voices, like there's one word, you get the word, and then you can go into a sentence and just like do the whole voice, right? My best one, and I did this on the live video. My best one was like Plankton from SpongeBob.
No way.
And so the thing I always have to say, I have to laugh and then say yes in his voice. And so I go, yes. Wait till I get my hands on that Krabby Patty formula, crabs. That
is so good, man. That is amazing.
That was like me and my friend just do impressions like all day long, just back and forth, conversations with different characters we want to see meet. And then we just improv it.
Good.
That's amazing. But yeah, that's one of the things that like. There's so many like little things that I want to capitalize on. But so if I were to tell you, or if I were to tell other people, like VFX isn't the thing that I want to do forever, they'd be like, well, what else do you want to do? And I'm like, well, let me go through the list of all the of all the little things. I would love to be a voice actor. I would love to I would love to be a live action actor. I want to be in a musical. I want to direct. I want to edit. I want to do like everything. But at the same time, I got to start somewhere. Right now, VFX is that spot.
Yeah. True heart of a creative, man. You know what I mean? That's kind of the thing. You just gotta. I mean, just have fun with it. I would say, it seems like you know what you're doing. It's like I look at some of the bits on your TikTok and stuff, and I'm like, you're not afraid to go into characters and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's like that's impressive, because I could never. I'm too self-conscious in like shedding that layer of myself. I don't know how to say it. So
it's a talent for sure.
It's a talent. So hats off to all of you, like to you real true performers out there. So
thank you.
So Julian, me and Juan were discussing earlier before we got on with you. We were like, yeah, I know Miles Morales was made after Donald Glover, but I was like, you know what? I feel like Julian Bass should be the next, the next Miles Morales.
I cannot tell you how many times the Donald Glover comparison comes my way. It is insane.
No, but this is not a Donald Glover comparison. This is
Specifically
more like,
Miles
This is
Morales.
specifically
This
Miles.
is more like
I've
this is like
I've
you
been
should
a fan of
audition
Miles
that
for
role.
so long, man. I had a Miles Morales T-shirt that I had gotten in like 2011 and had no idea like who Miles Morales even was yet. It was just I was like, oh, look at this cool red Spider-Man design. And then like I started to like watch the shows, read the comics, and I was like, whoa, I had this Miles Morales. It was like destiny, It was like I was like, this is for me. Man, could you imagine? Just like getting the call
easily.
Hey, Kevin
I
Feige.
could too. I'm like, yo, he could be Marvel. Look at this. He's a good kid. You should check it out. Like, you know what I mean?
So if anybody who somehow is connected with the Marvel, shout out to Julian. Reach him.
Just,
Put him on the reel.
Yeah, no, if you guys are going to make a live-action Spider-Man with Miles, that's the guy.
Put him
Here
on
we
the
go,
reel.
Spider-Verse. Here we come.
Yeah.
Here we come.
That would that's something that I could never do. And like, funny enough, I don't know. Should we mention this? I don't know.
I don't know.
No, maybe
Don't dox anybody.
What is it?
Dox you, bro. Just your username on when you called us. I was like, oh, is this? I don't know. Maybe I should. That's going to dox him, right?
Oh, what?
But don't say it.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
not
say
going to
it.
say it. I'm not going to say
My username when I called you?
it. Yeah.
I just created it. So I just made this. So I don't know what it says
All right,
actually.
He's being a jokester.
Okay.
All right, gotcha. All right.
Well, we're not going to say, but one thing I did notice you say was your YouTube channel, you've got Julian Bass, but then you said macro bass. So is it bass or bass, Julian?
It's I did say macro bass, didn't I? I say like it's interchangeable for me sometimes. The bass it's my last name, so it would technically be pronounced macro bass. But geez. There's a lot of instances where I just say macro bass, and others when I say macro bass. I'm gonna leave that up to the world to decide. It's gonna be like GIF and GIF. You're like, what's the original?
Right.
They're like, and people are gonna be like, well, his last name is Bass, and it's like, but he said on a podcast it's bass.
The debate continues.
Yeah. I'll let that fly.
Well, Julian, this is a technical podcast, technically.
Cool.
So we should get into a little bit of the VFX stuff.
Yes.
When you do your videos, I know you're primarily an After Effects guy, but I'm pretty sure you also use Premiere, correct?
Well, believe it or not, I have never touched Premiere in my life.
Oh wow!
I actually use Final Cut to edit, like to composite all the stuff for the After Effects. But it's interesting. I just got like an email the other day, and I guess I can talk about this, but it was like this lady reaching out for this Adobe partnership because they have this app, Adobe Rush, which is like the app version of Premiere. And I was like, I was gonna be like, I don't know how to do that. And then I was like reading like the price tag, and I was like, oh yeah, I've used Premiere like all my life, But a lot of people assume that's like the workflow, which would make so much sense, and I just need to like learn it because it's industry standard, and that's what people always talk about, like what's industry standard. It's just Final Cut was so much easier to learn for me, at least, to start out with. And also at my job, they used Final Cut when I was working at GCPS TV.
Shout out.
Cool, man. And your business, so your website, you've got Microbase Productions. Do you still keep up with that? Like, and can you tell us a little bit, like, what do you actually do with that?
Yeah, so I recently haven't done much of okay, well, let me just kind of backtrack. I'm getting ahead of myself. Macrobase was really made out so that I could do like ads and stuff, promo videos for like corporate stuff, and then we just made that a business so that for tax purposes and things that we can like use all these business loopholes and expenses and kind of get everything to like work out, because these videos were going to be they were going to be big. They were going to be there's a lot of money coming in at one time, and I don't want all of that to be taxed. So we created Macrobase. My dad helped me out with it. He was like the I guess the CEO, if you will, for like the year until I became 18. And then now I'm the creative director. But I the last video I did was this real estate agent, and he wanted a video. He wanted an ad for himself, and that it's just that kind of stuff. It was like hey, this is gonna be $1,000-$2,000, just like a 1 minute ad promo. Of course, the bigger the company, the bigger the job. I had actually been flown out to New York to do a farming conference, to shoot a farming conference up there. Just
Nice.
like I want to do that more often too. That like the traveling stuff. I got to go upstate to this rice farm. I was like, there's a rice farm in New York. Insane. Like I was like, I would have never thought. But yeah,
it's right in the middle of Manhattan.
Yeah, I was blown away by like just all the stuff that I've been able to see because of that. But because of TikTok now, that stuff has kind of been on the back burner, and it's like kind of taking a back seat.
Makes sense.
Have you been having any like notable people or companies reaching out to you from TikTok now?
Let me think. Because yes, I have had a few people. Like it's really like
For marketing,
I work with this guy who is kind of linked to Columbia Records, and he gives me like songs and stuff to do like promos for, and
Nice.
like every once in a while, like the artist or whoever will be like, "Yo, you killed it! Like this is a great video! Like this is awesome." But I haven't been reached out to by okay, well actually this is like the most notable person. James
Don't
Corden.
break any NDAs. Don't break any NDAs right
Oh
now.
no. Yeah, this is public information here. This is this wasn't like secret like project that I'm working on. But James Corden, I had actually put up a GoFundMe for college. Like this was way before like I was big enough on TikTok to even to be reached out to by anybody. But I had this GoFundMe, and I was like, the goal was like $5,000. I just wanted to really cover like a semester or two of just like tuition, like because I was working at the same time. I was paying my own way through college, and like no loans, like just working, pounding pavement and doing it. And so I had decided, I'm not going to live on campus. I'm going to commute from home, which is where I am right now. I was just going to commute, and tuition was like the bulk of that. It was like $5,000. I was like, that's cool, hands off. I did that Ant-Man video, and somebody on Twitter made that go viral there. And they were like, he also has a GoFundMe, and I was like, whoa. And so people were donating, and then it was one night. I'm on this family call. We're doing like these family calls for COVID-19. I'm on this family call, and I'm like, I just reached my goal. I just got this email from GoFundMe. I reached my goal within a day. And it was just at like $50 the other day, or just like last night. And it was a note from somebody, Jay Corden. I was like, Jay Corden, like James Corden, like the guy. And, and I'm like, I'm reading this, and he's like, and I'm reading it in his voice too. And he's like, Julian, I really love your videos, and I can't wait to see what you do. I'll pay the rest of your college. And, I'm like, this isn't really. But it was like, it was a donation of $2,000. And I was just,
damn.
I was floored. And I found out, from someone else that was like, yeah, that was actually him. That's how far this reach goes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a great story, man.
That's cool.
Shout out to James Corden.
Yeah, shout out to James
respect.
Corden. And then shout out to Matthew Cherry, who was able to like reach Corden on that. Matthew Cherry's the guy. He did Hair Love. he won an Oscar for that film.
Oh, dang.
And he was the one who put James Corden on, really.
Dang.
Wow.
And I'm, in contact with him now. Just, I'm like, this is my door, like I got to go through it.
Yeah.
Like this is
100%.
it for me. And I know TikTok is like, that's where I am right now, but I'm like, that's not going to be where I am forever. Because I have so many things that like, so many big things that I like put aside that I'm like, this is the time, I got to do it. If coronavirus didn't exist, I'd be in LA right now. I would be on a flight.
Honestly, Julian, I'm like, why is this kid even in college? He's got so much skill to just,
got so much
to just do everything he wants already.
Yeah, and well, that's a story in and of itself too. And of why I'm gonna say back in college because I took a year off. Because I just like you think, I thought the same thing. I was like, I don't need this. I can just do it. And I can just do it, but I was not in the position, really, not in a position now, especially, where I was making like a steady flow of like income, like doing the stuff for macro-based freelancing and stuff was like, it's you get a big pot and then nobody's like biting. You got to prospect for these jobs and stuff. I was just not, alone. I was not going to be able to do that. And so I had, looked around for production houses and things. I was like, where can I just like focus my skill and be like, here, I'll just work as an editor for a bit. But they weren't biting either because, not only was I like 18, I was super skilled. I could have totally done, what they needed me to do. It's just, they're like, what are you gonna do? Like that's just the preconceived idea.
Right.
And I didn't have that slip of paper, from a university, and that was the only thing that you could hold over my head. And I was like, what? I just have to just get the credential. Like no matter who I talk to, they were like, you just need the credentials. And I was like, why? And they were like, you don't need it, because everybody in the film industry will tell you don't need the degree. But I think what they mean is like you don't need a film degree, because there's been so many times where I've been on set, right? Like as a PA or something. I've been on set of like, bigger productions, and like The Walking Dead. I can talk about that because the season 9's out already. I was, talking to people who didn't have film degrees. They were like, I was a psychology or, major or whatever, There was a guy who was like a Florida Gators football player who was the medic on set. Like,
Okay.
And I was like, did you go to like school for like, medical, like anything? And he was like, nah, you just, I got a call. It's really who you know. He's like, he got a call from someone, and they were like, can you put Band-Aids on or something? He was like, yeah, I can. And so they brought him in, and these people are getting paid. And they're like, making money off this stuff. And that's one thing you're just not told, but you're also told in the wrong way.
Right.
People say like,
there's a lot of these discoveries that you wish you could have when you're younger. Just like, tell me the truth. What do I really need to do?
Right.
What do I really need? You know? Yeah, it's tough, but it looks like you're on a good path, Julian. I gotta say. So
yeah. What would you say to folks that are like, I guess some of the younger people that are trying to make something of TikTok or make themselves on TikTok? You're a very talented guy, so it's kind of like easy for you to like just transition into stuff. But for those of us normal people, you know what I'm saying? What would you say?
Yeah, that's a good question. What would I say? I get asked a lot, I guess, like what the secret is, because people think there's a secret. I have a formula, if you will. Like I have certain rules that I follow, like shorter videos and the loops, and just like catching attention. But when it comes down to it, like I didn't start on TikTok editing. Actually, that was something I was at a point where I'd kind of forgotten about that skill almost altogether, which is crazy. Like that I have this huge thing that's like it's my whole thing now that I just let fall by the wayside so quickly. But it was about I posted maybe like 15 videos already before I started editing at all. And it comes down to just continuing to do it. And I know, like, I used to hear people say that all the time. I'm like, ugh, okay, really? Just believe, like, what is this, Disney? But I would really say, like, a lot of people could find themselves in a spot where you're discouraged, like you'll make your first video, you'll spend hours on it, and like 5 people will see it. But I think back now, I'm like, holy cow, I had like 4,000 followers. Like, that was the biggest thing. And I see people with like, 15K, like, talking about, oh man, I wish I had all this, I wish I was even that person for a bit. There was one time I did a video, I had like 17,000 followers at the time. And I did this video. I was like, why aren't people watching the stuff? I was getting 1,000 views, but all 17,000 people, like, where's the engagement rate at,
Yeah.
But I see now that it almost doesn't matter who follows you, too. It matters, like, what is it truly, if you're talking about like trying to get big on TikTok, it matters what's good for TikTok. At the end of the day, like, you'll have I know people with more followers than me who have lower engagement rates. Like, people like Josh, right? He has a high engagement rate. Like, he has 3 million followers, but he has like 10 million views like per video. Like, it's easy for him because he uses like trending songs. He has like a good groove, good loops, like, and his videos are good. Like, they're good, like, videos. And it's, it's family friendly. It's like everything is like, it's good for TikTok, I think if there was, okay, let me just put it like this so I can like shorten this up. There's a kid in front of me. He says, Julian, I want to be like you. I'd be like, first of all, no, you don't. Like, you want to be you, the best version of you. Because I want to be other people too, but, that's like the worst blueprint. Second, just if you have, like, editing itself, and I saw this a comment under my video, editing itself is not a talent. It's something that can be learned. But it's the creativity and, like, the thought that goes into it. Like, being able to creatively do something, that's where the talent lies. And I think, and it's hard for me to say this, but not everybody has that thing, right? Like, not everybody is going to be in the NBA. Like me, like, I'm not in a position right now where I can just turn my life around and just be a NFL football player. Because, and you have to accept that there's always something for you, even if you, like, if I could be a professional athlete, like, I would be, like, I would thrive in that. I would be active. I'd love to, like, do athletics, but it's just really, it's not like I'm like 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. And, like, I'm not super bulky, but I found something else that I enjoy, that other people enjoy. And it just comes down to, like, I bet if I really, really wanted to, at like 11 years old, I could have pounded the pavement and been like Muggsy Bogues and gone to the NBA. Anybody could do whatever they want, but you just got to find your thing, Like, your thing, and it can change. And your thing, it doesn't have to be like the same thing forever. My dad always tells me this, and I, when I was talking about, like, I don't want to be an editor forever. Like, I don't want to be stuck behind a computer. But right now, this is my thing, and I enjoy it, luckily. People see the finished product, and be like, I want to be Ant-Man like you. But sometimes they're not going to enjoy editing like I do sometimes, like turning on the music and masking out every frame. I did 1,000 frames for a lightsaber that didn't even come out good. Like, like the lightsaber was terrible. And I was like, I don't know what I did wrong. Just 1,000 frames of masking. But that's something that'll end someone if they're on TikTok and it doesn't like turn out, and like they'll quit. It's so easy to quit. So much easier to not do something.
Very true.
But yeah, just you, man.
Yeah, it's you're saying it's the creativity aspect of it. Like, for you, at least, it's like, you just didn't want to also be, because you have the skills, like you're saying, but it's not a fulfilling creative endeavor, I guess.
Yeah. And I would say, don't get too hung up on those followers, man. Like that's what people.
Mhm.
Once I started just creating, just to create, then they came.
Mhm.
And that helps with what I said earlier. Helps with continuing to create content because the more stuff you have, the more people are going to see it in the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if you don't care about every single like person who sees it, then it's easier for you. You derive your own joy out of it. So
Gotcha. So you're kind of, my perfectionist mind is always quality over quantity, but you're saying you should go quantity.
well, if your goal is to be famous, then yeah, quantity, and you see that with famous
Yeah.
people too. Like you'll see their quality is like, but their quantity is like, Luckily, and that's what I was talking about, like engagement rates. Like I have the fortunate, so I wouldn't say my rules aren't quality or aren't quantity over quality. That personally, but for the kid who was asking for it, I'm like just make stuff. Like what's his name? Who was the guy on here? He's like the one who's like he's like does the business stuff or whatever. He's like I'm an entrepreneur. Gary V. That's the guy. Yeah, that's him. He he's like, post 100 videos a day, and if you're not posting 100 videos, you're never gonna get. It's like okay, like you're right, but like also really like is that what it's about? Like, do you have anything interesting to give to the world, like that you need to be posting 100 videos a day? Or are you going to use it as and for his case, it works. Are you going to use it as a platform to promote a business or something, like if if you're trying to sell something, definitely go quantity over quality. But if you're trying to be a creator like me, and I have like this high engagement rate of people because, they're following so that they can see the next thing. They're not following just to be like, just passing it by.
Gotcha.
It's an interesting thing. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what TikTok. I just say if you do what you want, you'll get there. You just
still haven't figured out that TikTok algorithm, huh?
Not at all. Like
weird.
I know what I can do, but my favorite videos just like go right under the thing. I'm like, this is I love this one, and they were like, no, we like that Ben 10 thing you did. We want you to do that again. And I'm like, really?
It's like somebody told me, I have a friend who like did pretty well. Like their number, they one video did pretty well, and I was like, how did you do it? And they were like, well, the hashtags. It's all in the hashtags and stuff. But like, I'm like, hashtags are like, I don't hashtag anything anymore because I'm like, that's like 2011, bro. Like that's not even like.
Yeah, the tags are like. That's I underestimate the tags a little bit, but I also just kind of like keep the same ones in every video. But have you ever seen those videos where it's like the guys like or there's somebody and they're like, I don't use hashtags to get on the For You page. And it's like, oh, you're on the For You page. It's like, really? That's great. Like now what? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, congratulations.
Right.
That's funny.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird app.
Yeah. Well, getting into the fun stuff. Like. Do you think, like, you were talking about like NBA, like you would love to be an athlete?
I think it's an NFL.
Yeah, just put me in anything. I'll play hockey for all I care.
He said NBA, NFL, like you know what I mean? Either. Well, he was kind of like I was caught up in that too, man, because I was like, man, I'm like average height, so it's like, man. I like jokingly tell people I'm like, yeah, I'm done dating like shorties. Where are my tallies at? Like, where are my 6 foot women at? I'm trying to get this NBA money. I'm trying to get my kids a fighting chance.
Yeah.
It's funny that Julian was also, since he was saying he was in football and he's a theater kid too.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of how I was in high school too, because I played football, sucked horribly, but I was in orchestra. So I was in orchestra and football, which were like that weird. Dichotomy
it's
too.
The performing arts, yeah.
I was doing orchestra too.
It really is resonating with me.
Yeah, I did. I played the viola in high school.
Oh no way!
Yeah, I played.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's weird. that's another weird story. My time in high school was freaking just jumbled up with just so much stuff. But I was going from the weight training to my first orchestra class. And then from there, I ended up quitting orchestra. So I dropped orchestra and football to do theater. And I kind of had to drop orchestra because I'm going to put this out there. This is like this exclusive Julian content.
Sweet.
In the 11th grade. No, it was 10th grade. I was in 10th grade, sophomore year. I pulled the fire alarm. And this was like, it wasn't like I was like, haha, I'm going to get you guys, you know. It was like the alarm. I've never seen, like, I wish I had something to show you like right now, but like, imagine like this is the wall. And like the alarm was like already like halfway, like, you know, perpendicular to the wall. I'm like, oh, it's a broken alarm, obviously. And I like, you know, hit it, and I hit this thing, and it clicks one more notch, and the thing goes off. And I'm like,
damn,
are you kidding me? You know, like, and we're like leaving the class, right? And so I'm leaving, and the door, there it is, and I hit it, clicks on, and they were like, hey, Julian, you know, like we saw the security cam footage, but we have to kind of suspend you. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever. And then, of course, it happened in the orchestra room. So the orchestra teachers are like, you know, they're like, Julian, we have to have this conversation with you. And I'm like, okay. But you know, everything comes full circle. I'll say that because in my senior year, the orchestra is doing their final show, the spring concert, right? And they're like, hey, we need somebody to. We're doing My Shot from Hamilton, and we need somebody to rap to do the vocals and sing. And the students were like, hey, we can get Julian to do it. We can get Julian to do it. And so they, like, you know, nope. I booked it from rehearsal, and I was there, and I was like, I am not throwing away my shot. And I was like, that's, you know, I got to be part of the last performance that I would have been if I had stuck with it. It's crazy.
Nice.
There you go. A beautiful redemption story.
Yes, like a big time. And now, now
that's excellent.
Yeah, man, I saw on your YouTube page you were like a big. I mean, you're one of your first videos are Dragon Ball Z videos.
Yes.
And I know I could tell, like, seeing some of your TikToks, I'm like, oh, he watches anime. I'm like, he watches anime. So like for the fans that don't know. Like, what are some of your favorite animes?
Ooh, that's a good question. Wow. Favorite animes, my favorite one, number one, is going to be Psyche K, The Disastrous Adventures of Psyche K. They have it on Netflix, and they did a Netflix series, they did Psyche K Reawakened, which is like a Netflix original that they did. That's probably one of the funniest shows I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, it's because and you know, I could only listen to the dub or watch the dub because everybody, like, the comedy is like so well written that it's like they're talking over each other at times. So Psyche is just like, he's got these like powers, he's got like every power in the book really, and he's just like so bored of everyone, he just kind of like wants to live his life, and so he can read minds and everything. And so, like, say for example, his dad is like talking to his mom. And he's like, come on, honey, I love you. And he's like, no, you don't. Like, in the background, they could hear his voice over the people, like Spitfire. And I could not read that fast. And I was like, wait, what did he say? Who said that? What? How? And I was like, whatever. My favorite, that was like number one, Psyche. I loved Attack on Titan. That was probably like one of the first ones I had actually watched. Because during the Dragon Ball Z and Naruto days, I was just playing the video games. I hadn't really watched them.
Okay.
So I was like, I was playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 on PlayStation 2, and I was playing Naruto Ultimate Ninja 3, and I think I might have played like a couple of other games, but Attack on Titan was like the first series I really got into, and
nice.
Yeah, that was huge. That was 8th grade, and I haven't finished season 3, so I need to get on that. But I just love,
man.
Like,
I don't know what it is,
stuff.
but. Yeah, I got same thing. I kind of stopped with season 3. I don't know why.
Yeah, like,
but like,
I don't know what it is.
They don't keep up with the. Yeah, they just got to dub it and stuff. But but yeah, that's wild. So yeah, keep going. I want to hear more.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I don't watch as much anime as people think I might, which is interesting.
Gotcha.
Because I you know, am able to like kind of use the tropes in these videos.
Yeah.
But
gotcha.
I love that, like, classic. I love the style of it, like, more than anything. Like,
yeah.
You just the idea kind of came from Corridor Digital, who are like these guys I like seriously look up to. Like they do the if you've seen their like most popular thing right now is they do the VFX artist react videos.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, the
name's
Corridor
really
crew.
familiar. Yeah, those
Yep.
guys are great. Yeah.
They're like the greatest. Like if anybody has someone to look up to, I look up to them. But they
I
do.
swear you could probably you could probably get on that show, man.
Oh
if you
yeah,
wanted to.
Uh,
for sure.
Dude, I wish if because they had like Zach King and stuff on there. If they were like, hey,
Yeah.
we have some groundbreaking effects from Julian Bass on TikTok, and I'd be like,
Dude, Julian, send him an email, bro. I guarantee they would have you on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
guarantee
reach
they
out
would
to
have
those
you.
guys because I've learned so much from them too. At the same time, like Ren, they're the guy who I guess he sits in the middle in their videos. Ren is like he's like the first video tutorial I ever watched for After Effects was on Embers with Particular, Trap Code Particular.
Oh,
And they did anime baseball, anime race cars, and like anime fidget spinners.
Yeah.
They did these 3 videos, and I was like, these are so good. And and I found that like when I first did anime basketball, or I did anime Uno first, but I did the anime basketball, I found that like it was so easy to do these videos because in anime, and I'm gonna, for the people who like don't understand, I'm not saying anything bad about anime here, but they cheat with their animation because in order to favor such a like more detailed style of art, right? So like if you look at Western versus, anime, then you have like like Adventure Times. It's like it's just tubes, just lines and stuff. Easier to animate, a lot more like frames, but you look at like animes. I've been rewatching Naruto. Like everything's like a still frame, and it's like just like panning across a still. And it's just like I could take pictures. I could take like a bunch of pictures and make an anime video like right now. And just dub it over. And because that's just how that's just how it is, and just kind of animate some of the motions here and there. But,
it kind of makes sense too because anime came from manga, I imagine, right?
Right, yeah, and so like that comic style, it's like to favor the art, and that's what I love about it, and that's also what I love about shows like Attack on Titan, because they have sequences in those shows that are like highly animated, but still like really well drawn. Like there's a scene.
Seriously.
Gosh, there's a scene where Levi is like flying through. He's like flying. He's being chased by this guy Kenny. These guys with these guns or whatever, and he's like flying through the city in this like nonstop sequence. It is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, I'm like, I don't know how long it took them to do that, but it was like, even if you slow it down, you could see every like movement, every intricate thing. They did not skip a beat. So, and that's like the stuff that I tend to appreciate because, sometimes if you're making a video, you're like, who's going to really stop it and watch it frame by frame?
Right.
I'm not going to nitpick it, but I'll watch it frame by frame just to, just to see.
It's for the love of the craft. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You just appreciate it. Yeah. No, I have the same thing. I have like a couple animes that I always go back to because I'm like, there's just so much to appreciate from it. You're just like, I mean, this is it. Like, this is, you capture the like, it's sort of like the quintessential kind of, what would you say? Zenith? What's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like the thing that captures the
essence.
The essence or not the culture.
Zeitgeist.
You get what I'm saying. He gets what I'm saying, but I want the audience to get what I'm saying.
But I think they understand one.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But
But yeah, we're coming in on 58 here, so I guess let's start closing it out here. Julian, I guess I wanted to ask you, man, just as putting the final touches on the podcast here, what are some of your like dream goals for the future?
Dream goals. I have a show that I actually wrote, a TV show that I definitely want to get made. And this was like in my first year of like college. Oh, look, UPS. First year of college, I'm like, this is like a crazy experience for me. And I wrote some scenes kind of based off of like some experiences. I want to get that show made. and it's called Semesters. It's like, think of like The Office, but like in a dorm, which is like, and I wrote a 45-page pilot script and I have like episodes written out. I need to get that to somebody who's like, who can, produce it. And then, I just want to I want to act more. Like I said, like voice acting and just film acting. My ticket into the industry is editing right now. So, yeah. And I want to make, big time. I want to make a movie musical version of Ragtime the Musical. And that's on me. I want to make that happen. Yeah, future.
I haven't seen Ragtime, but the semester show sounds legit. Like that could be something. I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't think that's really been done.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It hasn't because I own the copyright to it. I got it on lock. Don't worry, I'm able to mention that here.
Okay, good. And if anybody tries to, you have to. Yeah, you have
prepare to be sued by Julian.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
Baby.
Lawyer up.
Yeah.
Disney came close. They came out with the High School Musical series on Disney Plus. If that wasn't in high school, I would have had a case. I was like, if they were college students,
mess with Disney.
But I've been spending years on that show by now, and
nice.
That's like if there's the first thing that I'm gonna be on TV for, that'll probably be it. So we'll see. I don't know.
Oh,
am I frozen?
We're chopping up.
We're losing you a little bit here, Julian.
You guys
we're gonna
aren't
try to
moving.
hang on for a little bit.
We're getting chopped and screwed here in a second.
Oh, there you go. Oh, okay.
Okay, here. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
We're good.
I was gonna say
I was like,
if you need a for the semester show, if you need what are they called? A dorm, the
RA?
The RAs.
The RAs.
I need an RA, bro.
I think we're already too old to be RAs.
No, I can play it off. I can just be like,
dude,
maybe you can.
There's so many lovely characters in this show, man. I would love to just sauce that out to people. Like, hey, people I know, because one of the things that I want to do is as I did like this acting thing for a while. Where I was taking acting classes and did like a small tour. Actors, there's so many of them, and there's so many really good ones, and so many people who just kind of want to do it that they just don't get the opportunities. And if this show is something that I can get legs under it, then there's definitely room for I'm just gonna bring in new people because I don't want to draft up A-listers and use up all my budget. What the heck?
Get Matthew McConaughey as your RA. All right.
Yeah. They got the money for one episode.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, that's awesome. Hats off to you, man. I love seeing creative people do creative things. It's just it inspires me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Especially the younger generation like you, Julian. I mean, you got some good things going on, man, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Yeah, same here, man.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. And I guess, Julian, just to close it off here, do you have any last things you wanted to plug, man?
Things I want to plug.
Projects or anything like that?
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't really think so. I mean, just, the TikTok, the YouTube. I just want to make sure that I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm pretty set. If there's one person I'd like to plug, it would be Sorian Subcoda, but he's
okay.
He's doing his own thing.
Shout out to Sorian.
Yeah, shout out to Sorian. I will shout him out everywhere I go though. So he's the one who's in all of my videos. He's the one I fight all the time. So,
okay, that guy.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
Was he the one? Was he the guy? I don't know because I went back to the YouTube channel just to see and was he the guy that was in your Is he like a old school friend like that? Like you had him on your videos back in the YouTube days?
I met him in theater. So the ones from the Dragon Ball Z one that you're probably talking about.
Yeah.
They were they were former neighbors, but he was the one for the first video we did was Subtext, that fight scene that we did. He gets hit by the truck. Yeah, and we won a film festival with that, and then we won the consecutive year with the pitch.
It's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny stuff, man. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
It's funny stuff, man. But yeah.
Excellent.
Check him out. Shout out. So,
All right, guys. So that concludes the episode. And guys, remember to just check out Julian. You know, he's the Julian Bass on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
yep.
He's also got Macro Bass on YouTube, and then his website, Macro Bass Productions. And also follow us, guys. Make sure you check out Eigenbros.com as our website, and then also subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment. And we'll see you guys next episode.
Yeah.
Julian, thanks
Peace.
a lot, man.